Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between LiquidNazgul and WhiteRa here on Steps of War. LiquidNazgul spawning as the blue Protoss player on the bottom left hand side of the map. Meanwhile, we have a WhiteRa spawning on the top right hand side of the map. Now, I went through all of the replays that I could find. Did not find a single Zerg versus Zerg. So I'm gonna go ahead and cast this best of 3 series, I believe it's best of 3, between WhiteRa and LiquidNazgul. I believe this is game 1. LiquidNazgul gonna go ahead and set down a 9 pylon and then perhaps continue scouting, or maybe we try to make it out that front door. Yeah, gonna go ahead and now scout. Same thing for WhiteRa. However, WhiteRa getting this pylon by his base and trying to go for a stronger economic advantage. We also had a little bit of a probe trying to mine down here in order to making sure that there is some sort of proxy pylon, no probe trying to come in, trying to do some sort of proxy build. And now once again, LiquidNazgul are going to go ahead and move on out with that probe. So WhiteRa and LiquidNazgul here on Steps of War. Steps of War is a very rush-intensive map just because of the close positioning of both players. Also, in a Protoss versus Protoss matchup, the Zealots, Stalkers, and Sentries are available so early to you that it really makes sense, or most players just really try to go for those units and just try to win with those. If you don't mass up enough early on, or you're not able to defend your starting location as you try to go to Colossus and Immortals, you really just get torn apart. We'll see, especially on this map, Steps of War. So Steps of War, very heavy, heavy intensive map. Back over here we have Nexus now chrono boosting in order to get some additional and getting some additional probes in play. WhiteRa, on the other hand, doing the same exact thing, going for an earlier gas than LiquidNazgul. So LiquidNazgul not getting their gas yet. So LiquidNazgul may be trying to go for some sort of 2-gate opening, while WhiteRa is going to be getting that cybernetics core, most likely trying to get some additional buildings as well. Back over here, we now have a probe trying to take down this one pylon. Chrono boost on that Zealot. Zealot now will be able to come out and try to take down that probe. However, the movement speed of a probe is faster than a Zealot. Back over here, WhiteRa is in fact getting the cybernetics core on the back of that base, and LiquidNazgul does not see it. So LiquidNazgul does not know there is in fact a cybernetics core in the back of that base. We'll see what exactly he's going for. He must assume that WhiteRa is in fact hiding his tech somewhere, as there's already there has to be more than one pylon in position based upon the army size of WhiteRa, going beyond that 18 and now in the 26 food range. Probe still moving around inside that base. Cybernetics core being built on the backside of LiquidNazgul's base as well, in addition to another pylon. So unit-wise and building-wise, both players sitting on the same type of buildings. Essentially, Stalker now being warped in by WhiteRa. LiquidNazgul most likely will be getting a Stalker as well, or perhaps a Sentry. You will remember that LiquidNazgul got his assimilator just a little bit later. Zealots, however, in doing a little bit of an engagement over here, trying to fight back. Probes coming in, a final Stalker getting in there. Taking a look at the losses. The losses over here, we have 5 units lost for WhiteRa against the 3 units lost for LiquidNazgul. So both players losing some units income-wise. However, LiquidNazgul a little bit ahead with 23 harvesters compared to 20. So that will give LiquidNazgul a little bit of an advantage. Back over here, very interesting. LiquidNazgul getting a second pylon on this front door and only looking to go for some sort of 1-gate opening. We have a probe now coming in from LiquidNazgul, and in comes the Stalker. Are we going to get a force field? No force field. That's a little bit surprising, based upon the fact that Sentry could have stopped that Stalker at that front door, and now Zealots coming in as well. So WhiteRa coming in with that Zealot and trying to take down another Zealot over here. Sentry now coming in to do a little bit of reinforcement, and now in comes that Stalker once again, trying to focus down that Zealot, able to get the Zealot down before that Stalker, and now overcome some probes. LiquidNazgul significantly behind right now, as the army size 275 versus 0 for LiquidNazgul. LiquidNazgul now trying to chrono boost, trying to get some additional Stalkers, and building an additional warp gate as well, getting a second pylon on this front door in order to continue to power up that early gateway. Cybernetics core with the warp gate nearing completion as well. So warp gate tech nearly done, and we'll see whether or not these are going to be turned into warp gates very quickly, and how they're going to be used. gateway now producing additional sentries, so the army of LiquidNazgul sitting at 350, trying to fight back even further. One Stalker down to 1 hit point. Down it goes, and another Zealot getting taken down, so LiquidNazgul fighting back fairly well, trying to take down one of those units, as the Stalker now being pulled away. Down goes that final Stalker. Two Stalkers fighting against 2 Zealots. Those 2 Stalkers are very, very low on hit points, and LiquidNazgul now coming in, going in off of a 4-gate opening, so very, very strong opening. Nice placement of that force field. That last Zealot is going to get stuck and will not be able to move on out. Back in the base of WhiteRa running off of a 3-gate build, while LiquidNazgul soon to be running off of a 5-gate. However, nice force field coming into play, trapping some of those units off of that ramp. Another force field being pushed down, most likely by LiquidNazgul, forcing WhiteRa to lose his Zealot as well. There is a proxy pylon from WhiteRa. WhiteRa able to warp in some additional units. He's powering off of a 3-gate, while LiquidNazgul powering off of 4, soon to be 5 gates. Once again, more force fields being used, and now just more fighting back and forth. Zealots now being pulled back. Sentries trying to stay within firing range of that Stalkers and those Zealots. Zealots trying to take down some of these sentries. Not going to really work as more of these units coming back in. However, Zealots once again doing more engagement. WhiteRa getting a little bit, going to be able to flank out LiquidNazgul as more units are being warped in. Units need to run up that ramp. No sentries, however, to block that ramp. LiquidNazgul may try to do some sort of sentry block. No, not going to do a sentry block. Losing another Zealot. So army-wise, 325 for LiquidNazgul, 500 for WhiteRa. But LiquidNazgul does have a little bit better positioning on this ramp. Another force field coming in, and very nicely done. WhiteRa now still has plenty of energy for force field. Zealots being pulled away. Sentries on that high ground. More sentries being warped in order to take down some of these units. And now a large number of Zealots. 4 Zealots now being warped in all at the same time. And the army of LiquidNazgul just exploding at this stage. Getting a lot of those units in WhiteRa now being forced to pull back with those units, and it looks as though LiquidNazgul not caring about that proxy pylon, as this army of LiquidNazgul chasing WhiteRa's units army-wise, 1125 or 1225 versus 450. And the production of 3-gate versus 5-gate is really starting to show. Zealots, sentries, and Stalkers continuing to fight back. Probes coming off the line in order to fight. However, it looks as though LiquidNazgul will be able to take this game. WhiteRa trying to go for that early pressure, early harassment, but was unable to. Stalkers now being forced back, Stalkers being warped in, but this army is just going to be too much. 4 Zealots, 4 sentries, and a single Stalker against one final Stalker, and WhiteRa says GG. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Stay tuned for Game 2 in this matchup.